Hello, and are you ready to see something pretty damn epic today? So, from the title, you can probably imagine what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you a way to create warps that spectators could use in a PvP map or something like that, and it works pretty damn well. I mean, I haven't tested this on an actual server, but from every possible way I can think about it, I can't think of anything going wrong. So if you can, then leave a suggestion in the comments, but let's head straight into it. So the general idea is you set warp points. Here I've got the blue warp, the red warp, and the green warp, just for demonstration purposes, and you make a method that any player who is a spectator can warp to any of these points without having to be at a command panel or something. So how does this work? Well, it works using a few different ways of remote redstone and sort of almost triangulating on players. Well, not triangulating, but basically pinpointing players. So the way it works is we have 3 items here. Now these are very specific items, and I'll get to that in a minute. But as you can see, they're labelled. They're labelled blue warp, red warp, and green warp. And then we have this bottle of enchanting, which is called the warp activator. So what you do is you place a warp activator on the ground. As you can see, the level value now increases to 2. So if your level value is equal to 2, it basically means that you're on a list that is ready to be teleported. And how does the teleport actually activate? Well, it's simple. All you now have to do is hover over the correct item in your inventory, and you're teleported. As you can see, it resets your level to 1. Very, very cool. So if I wanted to go to this blue warp, I'd select the sword instead. If I wanted to go to the other one, I'd select this. And of course you can use the like 1 key and such if you want to set up more teleports. So it's pretty awesome, pretty easy to use, and should work very well. So allow me to explain the mechanics behind this. They are quite complicated and not easy to understand at all. I mean, I can hardly wrap my head around it, so I'm just going to have to sort of tell you what happens. So I'm going to put my what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away these torches. So I'm going to break the system for a second, and I'm going to put myself on the enchanting list. Now as you can see, when I do that, all of these activate. Now if I hover over these, you can see, depending on which one I'm hovering over, it turns off one of the comparators. Now let's have a look at why this happens. What we have in here is an enchant command. Now what it's trying to do is it's looking for a player on the team spectator, which is a team I made just to sort of filter out the spectators, and looking for someone with a minimum level of 2, so you're on that list, and it's trying to apply a sharpness enchantment of level 0 to that player. So what that pretty much means is if you're hovering over the sword, then it will activate this one, because the sword is the only one which works with a sharpness enchantment. Whereas the other one, this I believe is a, let's see, we can figure it out. That is a feather falling enchantment, and the last is a respiration enchantment. And these are enchantments that only go on certain items, and will only activate for certain items, or deactivate in fact. So basically what it's doing is it's trying to apply an enchantment, and it's successfully applying enchantment, or at least it thinks it's being successful, but it's not really, because it's not actually applying the enchantments. But then when it realizes that there's a item which it should be applying an enchantment to, it tries to, but then because we've got the level amplifier of 0, it actually kind of doesn't. So it's all kind of negative, and you know, you've got the right item, yeah, it's not doing something. it seems very counterintuitive, but you just got to sort of accept the fact that it works. It's difficult to wrap your head around it. So I kind of want to point out that I was not the person who stumbled upon this. It was actually pointed out to me in a video by a guy called TrazLander, and he pointed out this effect. He accidentally stumbled upon it in his video. Pretty awesome video. So he did that, and I thought I'd refine what he did and sort of take it to the next level with these proper warps, because he did show a warping system that he was trying to build, but I kind of saw a few flaws in it, so I thought I'd sort of iron things out a little and make it a little cleaner to use. So that's the sort of main part to it, but there's still a little bit more that I kind of want to explain. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to put some torches down again. As you can see, goes ahead and teleports me because I had 2 levels, and all this is doing up here is it's looking for players who have a minimum level of 2 and are on the team spectator, and it will teleport them to that location. And of course those only activate when you're holding the specific item, because it's the inverse, and remember, all of them are on, and I think you get the general gist. But anyway, what happens after this is simply, if any of these are successfully activated, it will come up here, it will go into this command block, minus 100 levels from anybody who had 2 levels, go into a monostable circuit, 4-tick pulse monostable circuit, bear that in mind. So 4 ticks later, it goes into those again, but at the same time it instantly goes down here and switches all of these off, so that none of these are influenced, because if they are, they will be a powered block, and a powered block can't be repowered. And the idea here is we're basically just we're just resetting the mechanism, and if we want to reset the mechanism, we have to repower these comparators so that it can sort of have another look, and it can use the test for sort of function again, and then realize that there are in fact no more players who have a level 2, because we just removed all their levels. And we'll get to kind of what happens with that in a second. But we've also got a bit of a pulse lengthener here, because we want these torches to stay off for a bit longer than this pulse is given into. Otherwise it will not register properly. It's just a necessary sort of thing that you got to keep in mind. Anyway, the kind of last thing that I want to point out is this warp activator. What you need to sort of think about is a bottle of enchanting, a single bottle of enchanting, if you have no experience whatsoever, will not bring you up to level 1 or level 2. And if you're on level 1, like the beginning of level 1, it's certainly not going to bring you all the way up to level 2. So I looked on the wiki and I had a look around, and I found that for level 1 you need 7 experience, and for level 2 you need 17 experience. So what I do is I clear, whenever it's successfully done and I take away all their levels, it basically puts any player that has a greater level value of 3, or any player that's just successfully teleported, and it will basically remove all their levels. And when all their levels are removed, it will add 16 experience points, not 16 levels, 16 experience points. And as I just said, there are 17 experience points needed to get to level 2. So when you have, how shall I word this? When you have no experience points, you're added to 16, hence you only need 1 more experience orb to get to level 2. And you're in level 1 now. So level 0 is kind of neutral ground. Level 2 is teleporting. You're on the sort of list to be teleported. And if you're any higher than level 2, then you get back to level 0. And that's simply done by this command block at the end, I think. And then this command block here looks at anyone for level 0 on Team Spectator and adds 16 experience. All fairly straightforward, I hope. I mean, this is probably one of the most complicated things that I've tried to explain so far. So the reason that I have the greater than 2 idea going on is because if you want to sort of get off the list to teleport, all you need to do is get to level 3 and you get put back to level 1. So that's pretty damn awesome in my opinion. And I think it could really be used in a PvP map of any sorts because it's just so useful and so convenient. Of course, you can set up as many of these warps as possible, and it's easy for people to sort of decide whether they want to teleport or not. And yeah, I really like it. So that's about it for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed, a like rating would be much appreciated. And yeah, tell me what you think about this in the comment section below, and if you want to see more videos like this. And if you have any questions, of course, because I understand this is a very mind-bogglingly complex sort of thing to wrap your head around. And if anyone has sort of a better way of explaining it, feel free to leave it, and I'd love to hear suggestions. Anyway, as I was saying, that's all from me for today. If you've enjoyed, blah blah blah, like, rating, follow me on Twitter if you want more reliable uploads and sort of stuff on adventure maps, and I'll leave you guys for later. So, thanks for watching.